The Silent Hunter. The war had raged for 7 standard years across the Andromeda sector, leaving entire star systems in ruins and billions of lives lost to the endless conflict. The Korthak Empire, with their advanced plasma weaponry and massive warships, had slowly but surely pushed the allied species coalition to the brink of extinction. What had once been a proud alliance of 12 different species now remained as scattered remnants, desperately clinging to their last stronghold at Nexus Prime. Commander Zara Vex of the Terralian Defense Fleet stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Starfall watching in horror as another coalition cruiser exploded under the relentless bombardment of Korthak dreadnoughts. Her blue-scaled hands gripped the command console so tightly that her knuckles had turned white, and her large golden eyes reflected the distant explosions that marked the death of yet another crew of brave defenders. "Commander, we've lost the Valorian heavy cruiser Thunderbolt," reported her tactical officer, his voice barely containing his despair. "That makes 15 ships in the last 6 hours. Our defensive grid is collapsing." Zara's mind raced through the tactical possibilities, but every scenario ended the same way. The Korthak forces outnumbered them 3-1. Their ships were larger and more powerful, and their energy shields seemed almost impenetrable to coalition weapons. The Alliance had fought valiantly, but courage alone could not overcome such overwhelming odds. "Signal all remaining ships to fall back to defensive formation Delta 7, she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "We'll make them pay for every meter of space they take." Light years away from the desperate battle, in a region of space that appeared completely empty to any scanning equipment, something extraordinary lurked in the void. The experimental Earth vessel Shadow's Edge hung motionless, its revolutionary quantum cloaking technology rendering it completely invisible to all known detection methods. This was humanity's greatest secret, a ship that had taken 15 years to design and build in the hidden shipyards beyond Pluto. Captain Marcus Chen, a tall man with graying temples and eyes that had seen too much war, stood in the center of the ship's command deck. Unlike the traditional bridges of other species, the human vessel's control center was designed for maximum efficiency, with holographic displays surrounding the crew and allowing for intuitive 3-dimensional tactical planning. "Sir, we're receiving the classified transmission from Earth Command," announced Lieutenant Sarah Knox, the ship's communications officer. Her fingers danced across the quantum encryption console as she decoded the message that would change the course of galactic history. Marcus read the orders in silence, his expression growing more grave with each line. Operation Phantom Strike was finally authorized. After years of watching the galaxy tear itself apart while Earth remained hidden, humanity was ready to reveal itself to the universe. But this revelation would come not through diplomacy or gradual contact, but through a demonstration of power that would shock every species in the known galaxy. "Helm, set course for Nexus Prime. Maximum stealth velocity," Marcus commanded. "Engineering, I want all systems operating at peak efficiency. We get one chance at this, and failure is not an option." The Shadow's Edge was unlike any ship ever built. Its hull was constructed from metamaterials that could bend light and energy around it, making it effectively invisible. Its weapon systems were equally revolutionary, using focused quantum energy that could tear apart molecular bonds at the subatomic level. Most importantly, its crew of 200 humans had trained for this moment their entire lives, knowing that they carried the hopes and dreams of their entire species. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the ship's chief science officer, monitored the quantum cloak systems from her station. "Captain, our stealth field is holding perfectly. We're essentially a ghost in space. Even if they knew exactly where to look, they wouldn't be able to detect us." "Good," Marcus replied, studying the tactical display that showed the battle raging around Nexus Prime. "Because we're about to walk into the largest space battle in galactic history, and surprise is our only advantage." Back at Nexus Prime, the situation had gone from desperate to hopeless. Admiral Thex of the Valorian fleet, a tall humanoid with crystalline skin that reflected the explosions around him, received reports from his remaining ship commanders. The Coalition's last line of defense was crumbling under the Korthak assault. "Admiral, we have confirmation that Dreadlord Vexithar himself is leading the Korthak fleet," reported his aide. "His flagship, the Void Crusher, just dropped out of hyperspace with reinforcements. We're now facing over 300 enemy vessels. Thex closed his eyes and said a silent prayer to the ancient gods of his people. The Void Crusher was legendary among the Korthak fleet. A massive warship over 3 kilometers long and armed with weapons capable of destroying entire moons. Its arrival meant that the Empire was serious about ending this war once and for all. Open. A channel to all coalition forces. Thex ordered, his voice heavy with the weight of defeat. Prepare to transmit surrender terms. We cannot ask our people to die uselessly against such odds. The massive Korthak Dreadnought slowly approached, the coalition defensive line, its dark hull bristling with weapon emplacements and shield generators. Dreadlord Vexthar, a towering figure with cybernetic implants covering half his face, stood in his command chamber surrounded by holographic displays showing the tactical situation. Pathetic, he growled, his voice amplified by mechanical implants. 7 years of war, and this is how the Great Coalition ends. Not with glory, but with whimpering surrender. His tactical officer, a younger Korthak with fresh battle scars, approached cautiously. My lord, the Coalition fleet is requesting terms of surrender. Shall we accept? Vexthar's remaining organic eye gleamed with cruel satisfaction. No. They made us fight for 7 years. They cost us ships, resources, and warriors. They will pay the full price for their defiance. Begin the final assault. Leave no ship intact. The order went out across the Korthak fleet, and over 300 warships began their final advance on the coalition forces. Energy weapons lit up the void as the Empire's ships opened fire, their plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes creating a devastating light show that could be seen from neighboring star systems. But something was watching from the shadows, something that the Korthak Empire could never have expected. The Shadow's Edge had arrived at the battlefield, its sensors recording every detail of the engagement while remaining completely undetected. Captain Chen studied the tactical display with growing anger as he watched the systematic destruction of the Coalition fleet. Sir, we have a clear shot at the Korthak formation, reported Commander Jake Stevens, the ship's tactical officer. Our quantum cannons could take out a dozen of their ships before they even know we're here. Marcus nodded grimly. That's exactly what we're going to do. But first, I want you to target their command ships. Cut off the head, and the body will follow. Begin the attack sequence, but maintain full stealth until my order. The human crew moved with practiced efficiency, their years of training and preparation finally being put to the test. The Shadow's Edge slowly maneuvered into position, its weapon systems charging with deadly quantum energy while remaining completely invisible to enemy sensors. Weapons ready, Captain, Stevens reported. Targeting the Korthak flagship and 6 heavy cruisers. We can eliminate their command structure in the first salvo. Marcus watched as another coalition ship exploded under Korthak fire, its crew of hundreds lost in an instant. The time for hiding was over. Humanity had watched from the shadows long. Enough. Fire, he commanded quietly. The Shadow's Edge unleashed its quantum cannons, sending beams of pure energy across the void. To the observers at Nexus Prime, it appeared as if the Korthak ships were simply exploding without cause, their hulls torn apart by invisible forces. In the span of 30 seconds, 7 enemy vessels were completely destroyed, their crews never knowing what had killed them. Confusion spread through both fleets as the impossible happened. Ships were dying without any apparent attacker, and the most advanced sensors in the galaxy could detect nothing. The tide of battle had suddenly and mysteriously shifted, and nobody could explain why. The unseen strike chaos erupted across the Korthak fleet as another wave of their ships exploded without warning. The massive Dreadnought Crimson Fang, one of their most powerful vessels, suddenly cracked in half as quantum energy tore through its hull, sending debris spinning into the void. The crew of the nearby ships watched in horror as their seemingly invincible warships were destroyed by an enemy they could not see. "Report!" bellowed Dreadlord Vexthar from his command throne, his cybernetic eye blazing red with fury. "What? Is attacking our ships? Where are these energy signatures coming from?" His tactical officer's hands flew over the scanning equipment, but the readings made no sense. "My lord, our sensors detect the energy discharge, but there is no source. It's as if the attacks are coming from empty space itself. Meanwhile, Commander Zara Vex and the Coalition forces watched in amazement as their enemies began falling to this mysterious new threat. The Korthak formation, which had been advancing with overwhelming confidence just minutes before, was now in complete disarray as captains desperately tried to identify and counter an invisible enemy. Could this be some kind of new coalition weapon? Asked Zara's tactical officer, barely daring to hope that their situation might be improving. Impossible, Zara replied, studying the tactical display. We don't have anything that could do this. Someone else has entered this battle, someone with technology beyond anything we've ever seen. The Shadow's Edge continued its deadly work, systematically targeting the largest and most threatening Korthak vessels. Captain Chen watched with grim satisfaction as the enemy formation began to collapse, but he knew that surprise alone would not win this battle. The Korthak Empire had hundreds of ships, and even with their advanced weapons, the human vessel could not destroy them all while remaining cloaked. Sir, we've eliminated 17 enemy vessels, reported Commander Stevens. But they're beginning to adapt. Some of their ships are firing randomly into space, hoping to hit us by chance. Then it's time to reveal ourselves, Marcus decided. We've proven that humanity can strike from the shadows. Now let's show them what we can do in open battle. Deactivate the quantum cloak. The Shadow's Edge shimmered into existence like a ghost becoming solid, its sleek hull reflecting the light of distant stars. The ship was beautiful in its deadliness, its design clearly different from any vessel built by the known galactic species. Where other ships were built for brute force or elegant curves, the human Dreadnought was a perfect blend of function and form, every line designed for maximum efficiency in combat. The appearance of the mysterious ship sent shockwaves through both fleets. Coalition commanders scrambled to identify the new arrival, while Korthak captains demanded to know how a ship could appear from nowhere. The design was unlike anything in their databases, suggesting that a completely unknown species had just entered the galactic stage. Unknown vessel, this is Commander Zara Vex of the Terralian Defense Fleet, came the transmission from the Coalition flagship. Please identify yourself and your intentions. Captain Chen activated the ship's external communication array, knowing that his next words would echo across the galaxy for generations to come. This is Captain Marcus Chen of the Earth vessel Shadow's Edge. We represent the human species, and we're here to end this war. The revelation that Earth, a planet that had been considered uninhabited and technologically primitive, had produced such an advanced warship stunned everyone listening. The Coalition had sent expeditions to Earth centuries ago, finding only primitive civilizations with no space travel capability. Yet here was proof that humanity had not only achieved faster-than-light travel, but had surpassed the technology of every known species. Dreadlord Vexithar's rage reached new heights as he realized that his perfect victory was being stolen by creatures he had never even heard of. Humans, he spat. Impossible. Earth is a backward world of savages. How could they possess such technology? My lord, his science officer reported nervously. Our analysis of their ship's energy signature suggests technology at least 50 years ahead of our own. Their weapons appear to be based on quantum manipulation at the subatomic level. I don't care if they're wielding the power of the gods themselves, Vexthar snarled. They're just one ship against my entire fleet. All vessels, focus fire on the human ship. I want it reduced to atoms. Over 100 Korthak ships turned their weapons toward the Shadow's Edge, unleashing a devastating barrage of plasma cannons, quantum torpedoes, and energy lances. The concentrated firepower was enough to destroy a small moon. But the human ship danced through the attack with impossible grace, its advanced engines and defensive systems allowing it to avoid or absorb the incoming fire. Shields at 78% and holding, reported the ship's defensive officer. Their weapons are powerful, but our deflector arrays are handling the load. Captain Chen smiled grimly. Then let's show them what human engineering can really do. All weapons free fire pattern. Let's give them a proper introduction to Earth's children. The Shadow's Edge unleashed its full arsenal, and the result was devastating. Quantum cannons tore through Korthak shields as if they were paper, while guided antimatter torpedoes sought out the most vulnerable points on enemy ships. The human vessel moved like a predator among prey, its superior speed and maneuverability allowing it to strike and retreat before the enemy could respond effectively. The coalition forces, inspired by the human ship's example, began to rally. Ships that had been preparing to surrender suddenly found new courage, their crews realizing that victory might still be possible. Led by Commander Zara's Starfall, the coalition fleet began to advance, their weapons adding to the chaos now consuming the Korthak formation. "This is Admiral Thex to all coalition forces," came the transmission across the fleet. "The humans have given us a second chance. Let's not waste it. All ships, engage the enemy with everything we have." The battle raged for hours, with the Shadow's Edge serving as the spearhead of the coalition counterattack. Captain Chen and his crew fought with the skill and determination that had carried humanity through countless challenges on their home world. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and fighting an enemy they had never faced before, but they refused to yield. "Sir, the Korthak flagship is trying to escape," reported the tactical officer. "The Void Crusher is breaking away from the main formation." "Not on my watch," Marcus replied. "Helm, intercept course. If their leader escapes, he'll just return with reinforcements. This ends here and now." The Shadow's Edge pursued the massive Korthak Dreadnought, its quantum engines allowing it to match the larger ship's speed despite the size difference. The two vessels engaged in a deadly dance among the stars, trading devastating volleys while smaller ships from both fleets continued the battle around them. Dreadlord Vexthar, faced with the loss of his fleet and the failure of his grand strategy, made one final desperate gambit. "If I cannot have victory, then I will at least have the satisfaction of destroying you, human. Activate the ship's self-destruct sequence. We will take them with us into the void." But Captain Chen had anticipated this possibility. "Dr. Rodriguez, activate the quantum containment field. We're going to save that ship whether they want us to or not." The Shadow's Edge projected a powerful energy field around the Void Crusher, containing the explosion when the Korthak flagship's self-destruct sequence activated. The field compressed the destructive energy into a small controlled sphere that was safely ejected into space, while the Korthak crew found themselves alive but helpless aboard their now powerless vessel. With their leader defeated and their fleet in ruins, the remaining Korthak ships began to surrender or flee. The war that had raged for 7 years was finally over, ended not by the species that had started it, but by newcomers who had emerged from the shadows to restore balance to the galaxy. In the aftermath of the battle, representatives from every surviving species gathered aboard the Shadow's Edge to meet the humans who had saved them. Captain Chen, still in his battle-worn uniform, stood before the assembled delegates and spoke words that would be remembered throughout galactic history. "We have watched this war from the shadows, learning about the galaxy and its peoples. We have seen great courage and terrible cruelty, acts of heroism and moments of despair. Today we revealed ourselves not as conquerors, but as friends. Humanity extends its hand in friendship to all who would accept it." Commander Zara Vex, her golden eyes bright with gratitude, stepped forward to speak for the coalition. "The galaxy owes you a debt that can never be repaid. Your people have given us all a second chance at life, at peace, at hope for the future." As the various species' ships began the long journey home, carrying news of humanity's dramatic emergence, onto the galactic stage, Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the Shadow's Edge and looked out at the stars. The battle was over. The war was won. But he knew that this was just the beginning of humanity's journey among the stars. "Sir?" asked Lieutenant Knox. "What are your orders now?" Marcus smiled, thinking of Earth and the billions of humans who would soon learn that they were no longer alone in the universe. "Set course for home, Lieutenant. We have a lot of explaining to do and a galaxy to explore." The Shadow's Edge turned toward Earth, its mission complete, but its story just beginning.